What is going on, everyone? This is James Hernandez. How you all doing? And welcome back to my brand new video for my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite video game villains. So I have been requested to do this like ever since I did a Q&A on my Instagram account, and then a follower of mine wants me to do my top 10 favorite video game characters, and then I asked him what video game characters he wants me to talk about, and then he said, how about you talk about some villains? And I thought, okay, villains sounds cool because villains are cool, and there are times where villains can be better than the heroes, and there can be more interesting than the heroes are. But yeah, so yeah, I thought this would be a great idea, so I thought, you know what, let's do this. So all right, so just want to let you guys know that these are just like my personal favorite villains. If there's any villains that are not on this list, that doesn't mean that I don't like any of the villains. I have not played the other video games where it has like iconic villains, but these are just the villains that I personally love. So but if you guys have your own top 10 favorite video game villains, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys got to say. So I'll be interested to hear what your favorite villains are in video games. So without further ado, let's get this list started. Starting at number 10 is Uka Uka from Crash Bandicoot. Uka Uka is the evil mask of Aku Aku. He makes his first appearance in Crash Bandicoot Warped, the third game in the Crash Bandicoot series. And he is like the max that you do not want to make him feel angry, because he is like the most horrifying villain that you can ever encounter in the Crash Bandicoot game. And he is Aku Aku's evil twin brother, and he will like do anything to help Dr. Cortex to destroy Crash Bandicoot himself, and he will do everything to take over the world and try to get all the gems and the power crystals. And then he is just horrifying. Like, even when you first see him in Crash Bandicoot 3, aka Warped, he is just a horrifying character. And this is a character that you do not want to fail, because if you do, then he will basically just like do some horrible things to you. Like, he would just like shoot lasers from his eyes, or he would just like torment you. It's just, he is such an horrifying villain, and his voice is so horrifying. Like, I really do like Uka Uka as a character. I think he is like, next to Dr. Cortex, he's like, and Jin, he's like one of the greatest villains, and not just from Crash Bandicoot, but in video game history. So yeah, gotta include Uka Uka on this list. So I like Uka Uka.
You insolent, insignificant morons! By defeating entropy, you have placed us all in grave risk!
All right, number 9 is Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. Now, despite that I don't play a lot of Mortal Kombat games, I played a few, not all of them, but Shao Kahn, he is like the big bad of the Mortal Kombat franchise, and he is like the most overpowered character in the Mortal Kombat universe. This guy will do everything just to like beat you up. He has this hammer, he will just like smash you. He will just literally like will do everything to cheat in the fight. He is such a brute force in a Mortal Kombat franchise, and he will just like destroy you, you know? So not a lot to say about Shao Kahn, honestly, because I haven't really played a lot of Mortal Kombat games, like I said. I play some of them, but not quite every single game in the series. But the only thing I know about Shao Kahn is that he is the OP character of Mortal Kombat, and he is such an iconic villain in the Mortal Kombat series. So about Shao Kahn, he's pretty awesome, so I like him. Alright, coming at number 8 is Mephis the Dark from Sonic 06. So Mephis is from Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, which that game didn't really get a lot of love from every Sonic fans because of like it was the most hated Sonic game. But despite the hatred criticisms that game has, Mephis the Dark is the villain and the character that gets the praise from its fans. Mephis is from this project called Solaris, and he was separated from Solaris along with the fire monster named Iblis. And he is more of like Shadow's villain more than Sonic's, because when he sees Sonic, he usually would just get in the way and do what he wants to do. But when he sees Shadow, he was like, this guy, he is so dead when I get to him. And Mephis also manipulates Blaze and Silver in the future, where he would say, if you want to save the world, you got to kill Sonic. And the fact that Mephis didn't even go after Sonic, because like I said, he's more of Shadow's villain. So, and what Mephis does that the other Sonic villains doesn't do, he literally killed Sonic. Like, it just came out of nowhere when Sonic and Princess Elise were walking after they escaped from Eggman's ship explodes, and then there was like a bright light flashing in front of them, and then Mephis just like impales Sonic with his power when he's in his crystal mode, and then he just like killed him. And Mephis' voice, he's voiced by Dan Green, which he has been like voicing Knuckles in the Sonic games and Sonic X in the 2000s, and he also voiced Yami Yugi and several other characters from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I did not know it was Dan Green who voiced him. And when I looked his voice, I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that was Dan Green. You know, it was the same guy who voiced Yami Yugi and Yugi Moto from Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, Mephis, he's pretty cool. I think he's a very underrated Sonic villain. I really hope that he appears in more Sonic games in the future, because he is just like a horrifying villain. And if Sonic fans actually were terrified by this guy who grew up with Sonic 06, I am terribly sorry. If he gives you nightmares, I'm very sorry about that. So, but overall, Mephis, awesome villain from a crappy game, but cool villain by the least.
I owe much to you, Shadow. Oh yes. What you gave to me, I now return to you. A one-way ticket to oblivion.
Okay, number 7 is Ripto from Spyro. I like Ripto. He is from the classic Spyro games, and he's like an orange wizard. I always thought he was like a dinosaur because he kind of reminds me of a dinosaur, but he's a wizard that wants to take over Avalar. And he is the arch nemesis to Spyro. He first appeared in the second Spyro game, and he appears in the other Spyro games as well. Like I said with Mortal Kombat, I didn't really play a lot of Spyro, but I play a couple Spyro games, not so much. But Ripto, he wants power. He wants to rule Avalar. And he's just so power hungry, where he just wants to get what he wants. And then whatever Spyro gets in the way, he would just like lose himself, and he would just like try so desperately to like defeat Spyro, but he fails because Spyro defeated him first. And he also did team up with Cortex in the Crash Bandicoot Spyro crossover games for the Game Boy, Crash Bandicoot Purple and Spyro Orange. But yeah, Ripto, I think he's really funny. He's a great villain. I thought Ripto was pretty cool. So yeah, thumbs up for Ripto.
Well, someone forgot to invite me to the party. Were you trying to keep something from me? A dragon? You brought a dragon to Avalar? I hate dragons!
Alright, number 6 is a Final Fantasy villain, and it's Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. Now, here's the thing, guys. I never played Final Fantasy VI, but I was introduced to this clown in Dissidia Final Fantasy, and he kind of reminds me of, like, the Joker from Batman and Pennywise from It. And he is just, like, this crazy clown that wants to destroy the world in Final Fantasy VI and Dissidia Final Fantasy, and he's the arch nemesis of the female protagonist named Terra, and he wants her to destroy the world, but Terra doesn't want to because she wants to be good. And then Kefka, I felt like Kefka never really take things seriously because he always acts like the Joker or the Pennywise of the Final Fantasy universe. And when I see him fighting Terra in Descendii Final Fantasy, he just never really take things seriously, and he's just like a terrifying clown just by his appearance alone and his voice. Like, he is horrifying. Like, he would just like trying to like give some kids nightmares. He also kind of gives me nightmares, but not as much as like as the Joker or even Pennywise the clown himself. But yeah, Kefka is just like a crazy villain, and he is also like iconic when it comes to Final Fantasy villains, which there's another Final Fantasy villain which I'm going to include on this list. But overall, Kefka, he's a great villain, crazy clown. So yeah, watch out for him, especially if you're afraid of clowns.
If you'd just let your powers take over and destroy your mind, you would have made such a better toy.
All right, number 5 is, of course, I gotta include this guy, Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik from Sonic the Hedgehog. When it comes to video game villains, you gotta include Eggman. I love Dr. Eggman. He is like one of the best villains, even like the funniest villain in video games. He is the arch nemesis of Sonic. He creates robots to destroy Sonic, and he just wants to like create the Eggman Empire. And he tends to be like the sore loser whenever Sonic defeats him, like whatever his robots are defeated when he tries to take over the world, and then like he has like a sore loser attitude, and he's just like so hilarious. And there were times where Eggman did turn out that he does team up with Sonic, and that is because there's like another villain out there that is going up against not just Sonic but also Eggman, and the villains that Eggman and Sonic had to fight against is even worse than Eggman. So that's why Eggman, excuse me folks, and Sonic have to like team up with each other, and they have to defeat the new nemesis. And then after, when Eggman and Sonic save the world together, and then Eggman is like, oh, I'm glad the world is safe. Now I could go back and take over the world again and create the Eggman Empire. And I'm like, of course, because literally Dr. Eggman is just being Dr. Eggman. He is so great, he's so funny. So yeah, like Eggman, I love Dr. Eggman. He's a great villain.
Those idiots! They're destroying everything! How can I take over the city and build the Eggman Empire if there is no city? I'm at my limit. I have no choice! Send in the Eggman fleet! Charge!
Okay, number 4 is Heihachi Mishima from the Tekken franchise. I love the Tekken franchise. I love Tekken. It's one of my favorite fighting games. Heihachi is a character that is pretty responsible for all the events of the Tekken games. He is like the father of Keisulia. He's also the grandfather of Jin. And it comes from like, he is from like coming from the most dysfunctional families in every video game, because he doesn't like his son, he doesn't like his grandson, and it's crazy. And that's where these guys are trying to destroy each other. Heihachi tries to destroy Keisulia. Keisulia tries to destroy Heihachi back, and all the moves that Heihachi uses was so crazy. Like, he would like just like grab you like this, and he has like electricity all over, and he would just like crush your face. And the sickest move that he did when I played as him or even fight as him is that he would grab your knees, and he would just go like this and bash you on the floor. And then like I showed it to my dad once when I was playing Tekken 2, and when he saw that move that Heihachi made, he said that move can instantly kill you. And I'm like, yeah, it really could, because that is like one of the dangerous moves that Heihachi makes that I have ever seen in a fighting video game in the Tekken series. He is so freaking sick when he fights like that. So, and all the electricity that he has like all over his body was crazy. Like, bro, what the hell? But overall, Heihachi, he's one of the best Tekken villains. I really enjoy Heihachi, so he's really awesome.
Mishima!
All right, number 3 is the Final Fantasy villain that everyone puts on their lists of video game villains, and that is Sephiroth. Yeah, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. I love Sephiroth. He is so awesome. He is the arch nemesis of Cloud Strife and Tifa Lockhart. And he has like this long white hair. He's got a long sword. And he is the main antagonist of Final Fantasy VII. What I really like about Sephiroth is that I like his personality, where he would like challenge Cloud into a fight, and usually he always acts like that he is like the coolest like villain, and he basically keeps his head cool. He's very well focused when he fights Cloud, and this guy is just dangerous. You know, much like with Kefka, he is just such a dangerous villain, but he doesn't act goofy. He doesn't act like a clown or anything. He is like this guy that has like a soft voice, and when he's defeated by Cloud, he will say, "I will never be a memory," and he just said it very calmly, and I was just like, this guy does not really get angry. Like, I don't think Sephiroth does get angry when he's defeated, but he just feels so calm about it. But all the moves that he makes and when he fights Cloud was just so awesome. And he is such an iconic villain when it comes to Final Fantasy villains in the Final Fantasy series. So yeah, I love Sephiroth. He is so awesome. So gotta include him here.
If it's despair you want, then I shall provide.
What I want most, I'll find myself.
You're nothing but a puppet.
All right, top 2. Number 2 is Black Doom from Shadow the Hedgehog. I did a review for Shadow the Hedgehog video game last year, I guess. And Black Doom is the leader of these alien species called the Black Arms. And he is he's the biological father of Shadow. When Professor General Robotnik created him, and Black Doom has his blood in Shadow, and then he wants Shadow to like find the 7 Chaos Emeralds and bring it to him so he can take over the universe and destroy mankind. But then Shadow turned his back on him, and he defeats Black Doom by himself, and he usually is defeated by Shadow. What I really like about him is his voice. His voice sounds really deep and so very intense and intimidating, and his appearance can be really terrifying. Much like with Mephis, Black Doom is such a horrifying villain in Sonic's Rogues Gallery. Like, you would see like any single villain in the Sonic games that are even much more horrifying or even worse than Eggman. Like, Black Doom is one of them. Like, he is such like an awesome villain that I had to include him in here on this list, because like when it comes to like dark Sonic villains or even like Shadow's villain, gotta include Black Doom. Just like with Mephis, Black Doom is such a horrifying villain. So yeah, I really enjoy Black Doom.
Well done, Shao. Our ritual can now commence as planned. Give me the Chaos Emeralds.
All right, at number 1, my number 1 most favorite video game villain is Dr. Neo Cortex from Crash Bandicoot. I gotta include Dr. Cortex. I love Cortex. What makes him such an iconic villain in video games is that he's the one that created Crash Bandicoot after when he kidnaps all the animals and turn them into his army so he can take over the world, and he created Crash. But then when he was about to put Crash inside the machine didn't work, and then Crash escapes. And then Dr. Cortex has no other choice but then not only take over the world, but also kill Crash himself. And much like with Eggman, he has like a sore loser attitude whenever he's defeated by Crash. Like, whenever Crash defeated him in every single Crash Bandicoot game, Cortex will be like, "Hey, that's not fair, let me win." And it's just like, oh my god. And then even in Crash Twinsanity, he has his hilarious moments when he teams up with Crash to defeat the evil twins. And there was this funny scene from Crash Twinsanity where Cortex tries to tries to open the door to his lab by pressing the red button, but it doesn't work, and then he got so frustrated because like the door will just not open every time he presses the button, and then he'll just be like, "Follow me, I'll show you another way," and it's like great. And of course Cortex, he is always like back to be like an iconic villain in the Crash Bandicoot franchise. So yeah, Dr. Cortex, he is great. I loved his voice. I think his name is Clancy Brown. I think that's his name who voiced him. He is great. Like, I loved his voice. He is so great. Such an iconic voice in Crash Bandicoot. So yeah, gotta include Dr. Cortex here. I love Cortex. He's my #1 favorite video game villain. I love Cortex.
Get ready to face my wrath, Crash Bandicoot!
Alright folks, those are my top 10 most favorite video game villains of all time, and I would like to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of my list? Did you guys agree? Do you disagree? What is your top 10 favorite video game villains? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys got to say. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make future videos. And stay tuned that I'm going to be reviewing the original Nightmare on Elm Street, since the spooky season is going to be on the way soon. And I'm going to be doing some like horror movie review videos, since Halloween's going to be approaching pretty soon, which time is flying. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy my top 10 favorite video game villains. Like I said, stay tuned for my Nightmare on Elm Street movie review. And I got some other horror movies I'm going to review later on. So overall, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, take care.